Perfect. All right, let's kick this off. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on whichever continent you're tuning in from. Welcome to our ICRA 2021 workshop on robot swarms in the real world. My name is Siddharth Maya. I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Pennsylvania. I'm working with Dr. Vijay Kumar, who's also in the organizing committee for this workshop. And I'll now invite my co-organizers, Gennaro and Roderick, to introduce themselves as well.
All right, yeah, hello and welcome everybody. My name is Gennaro Tomista and I'm a postdoctoral researcher at CNRS Via IRISA here in Rennes, France.
Hi everyone, I'm Roderick Gross. I'm a senior lecturer at the University of Sheffield and interested in swarm robotics and model robots.
Perfect. Thanks. Before we begin, I'd definitely like to thank the IEEE RAS Technical Committee on Multi-Robot Systems for all their support in organizing this workshop. And also, of course, a big shout out to our corporate sponsors, BitCraze and ClearPath Robotics, who are actually giving away some pretty exciting prizes in a few hours from now. So please stay tuned for that. All right, so the idea for this workshop really came from the realization that over the last decade or so, we have built up a lot of expertise in addressing challenges when it comes to deploying robot swarms in realistic situations. For example, in the context of swarm intelligence, there are many pertinent challenges which still remain significant, such as how do you effectively interface between humans and swarms? How do you develop algorithms that are distributed and scalable? And how do you bake resilience into our swarm robotics algorithms so that they can operate in the dynamic and chaotic environments that is our real world? And a lot of these points also tie in directly with the robotics challenges that are sort of baked into the scenario as well. And these usually relate to being able to give a certain level of autonomy to each individual robot, even within the swarm. And so there are challenges with respect to navigation and planning, locomotion, operating under constrained communications, making sure that the operations of the robots are safe, perceiving the world around us in sort of a joint manner. And the list goes on and on. This is by no means exhaustive. And finally, at-scale deployments of robot swarms will almost necessarily require us to sort of deal with the societal challenges that also crop up. And these are issues with respect to security, legality, ethics, right? And a lot of these topics are active areas of development, both within academia and industry. So yeah, as researchers, I think we have spent a lot of time of building expertise in the focus areas that I talked about. And one of the aims that we had for today's workshop was to really spark some interesting discussions around the concurrent development and the interfacing between all of these different modules. And really the challenges that would prop up when we put all our state-of-the-art technological solutions sort of together, maybe on the same platform or on the same system. And of course, the irony that we are hosting a workshop about things in the real world on a completely online platform like Zoom doesn't escape us. But nevertheless, we will persevere. And Gennaro will now take you through the schedule for today and then kick things off.
All right, thank you very much, Sid. So today we have an absolutely exciting schedule, and I'm sure you might have noticed that it's also quite packed. And one of the reasons for that is that we tried our best to accommodate all participants joining from all time zones. And actually, let me take this opportunity to thank all of you attendees, in particular, those of you who are joining from the Far East. I see you numerous compared to UTC that are like staying up late, as well as those of you that are joining from the Far West for waking up early. So we essentially have 3 types of events throughout the workshop. And first of all, we're going to have 8 invited speaker talks scattered throughout the schedule of the workshop. And at the end of each group of 4 talks, we're going to have a panel discussion. So this panel discussion is going to be chaired by our panel chairs, will consist of our speakers as well as invited panelists. And the theme and topics of these panel discussions are going to be around the most important challenges and focus areas of swarm robotics as a whole. And last but not least, there's going to be an interactive session in the middle of the schedule where selected researchers are going to be showing off their latest innovation and findings in swarm robotics in the form of e-posters as well as video demonstrations. In particular, you can already check all submissions and contributions in the form of papers, posters, and video demos on the interactive session webpage on the workshop website. Okay, and one last very, very important thing is Q&A for speakers and panel discussions. So we are going to be funneling all questions through Slido, and it's going to be very easy. You just go to the website on the Q&A tab, where you find a bunch of this input for asking questions to all speakers and panels. They're going to be there's going to be one for each speaker and panel discussion. If the widget for some reason is not going to work for you, you can click directly on the link, the direct link here circled with a 2. That will bring you to the Slido Q&A event page. And in case you have problems, of course, let us know through the Zoom chat.